I ain't tryna bring you down, but for real, you might as well give up now. Think you got a chance, but I don't see how. Got a real tight grip when I hold that crown. My life been good and bad and all around. The more things I lost, the more I found. One thing I taught myself to do, no matter the problem, refuse to lose. So, how you want it, man? You can choose. If you can't take the heat, don't light the fuse. See, I walk in slow and ignite the room. Like fire, everything I touch, I consume. I'm getting up while y'all just snooze. While you make breakfast, man, I'm on the move. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Whoever owns the place gotta drag me out. In me I trust, yeah, I smell like success. This Elon Musk, huh? Everybody wanna be like us. We don't stop, cause the top just ain't enough, huh? I ain't never gay, no, I ain't scared, man. You know black men don't blush, huh? Came here ready to fight on this night. You better just run for your life. Won't you come and see what it's like, living by the rules that you write. You ain't all those lavish delights, now you had no back in sight. All the little lies you recite, just makes all the savage unite. Usually I'm very polite, but I'ma get savage tonight. Even when the dog being nice, every single dog gonna bite. You might think I'm wrong, but I'm right. Just let it get a strong appetite. I'ma let it breathe just a little, give it to you strong, heavy metal. I don't make a sound when I strike. You better just run for your life. Run for your life.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the War Radio live stream. How we doing today? I am your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by none other than Brittany the Shadow, who's going to be catching up on all of our super chats today, as well as, by popular demand, the return of special guest Scott Barrows.
Popular demand.
By popular demand. I don't know who popular is,
well,
but no, hey,
man,
people loved
like
you.
It. That's great.
And who's the supermodel you brought with you, my man? Introduce the supermodel you brought with you.
So if you listened last time, I kept going on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, don't repeat the same problem.
About someone.
No.
And this is the person. This is my girl, Megan.
Hi, everybody. I'm super happy to be here.
All right, rock on. And so Megan's the one that got you involved in the church, from what I understand.
Megan
and she has a super cool conversion story as well. And by the way, Megan didn't realize it, but she brought us one of the most hilarious moments on our live stream already. Megan, you may not realize this, but like 20% of our audience is like anti-Mormon hate watchers. Like it's actually it's like actually kind of a thing. Oh, no. And so Scott didn't know those existed.
No.
And so, cause he's kind of fresh still, like fresh out of the baptismal font, right?
Just drying.
Yeah,
so.
Just drying. And so he was like, wait, those exist? And I said, do they exist? And I literally just said, bro, hey, anti-Mormons, all you hate watchers, here's your one chance. You got a fresh new Mormon here. You can corrupt him with your best gotcha question. And somebody said like, bro, like Mormons are racist. And then he was like, my girlfriend's black.
The one I love the most? Black.
So
black.
Like, hey, holla. So that was actually a really funny moment. And besides mirth, merriment, and just generally good humor, you also brought something else, Brittany.
Okay, wait, pause. Are we forgetting about someone?
Oh, no. Jonah.
No?
Sorry, Jonah. Yes, we're also joined via the Zoom by Jonah Barnes, the ward librarian. Jonah, what's going on, bro?
Oh, hey, what up? How's it going, guys?
It's going. Now, bummer you're not in the studio because Megan brought us some victuals, my friend.
Oh, no.
Some victuals.
So Dove's Nest, I saw your comment that you brought. I think she said like crayons and snacks, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna one up you, Dove's Nest. You see what my girl Megan brought?
Oh, snap.
It's a bunt cake, and she has Ward Radio logo on the bunt cake.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, my gosh.
if y'all want to come sit in my pew,
Yeah.
come on over.
Is that just the greatest?
It's
Dude.
so cool.
I had no idea she was going to do that. I came home earlier.
Hey, can you put
and
closer
she
to the camera again? The little Ward Radio logo that she's got
Yeah.
there?
I will
Look
try.
at that.
She did that.
That is legit.
I
Guys,
wanted to
this
come
is
bearing
just
gifts in case
confirmation
I
of
totally
what we
butchered
said
this
in the
experience,
Nara
so,
Smith
you know.
video
Can you
that
hear
our
him?
women...
Jonah's really quiet.
Yeah, hold
Am I
on
really
a second.
quiet?
Yeah, no, it's not your problem. That was mine. You both were talking at the same time. Say what
I
you
was
got to
just
say,
saying,
Jonah.
this is confirmation from our Nara Smith video that our women are more beautiful and craftier. This is a bunt cake. This is exactly what you predicted, Cardin. You said, don't all you women want to be beautiful and happy in the church with a bunt cake? And bam, Megan just fulfilled prophecy before your very eyes here tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Beautiful and crafty are the
Good job.
exact
Good
adjectives.
job.
Right?
Good
Exactly.
job. You're gushing. Scott, you're a wrestler. You're supposed to be like, yeah, dude.
For everyone.
She's freaking ill.
She's
And
just,
she'll body slam you after baking.
She turns me into Jello. What can I say?
All right, rock on. That's sick. Okay, cool. So there's all kinds of fun stuff that's been happening in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as of late, and we're going to dive in. Before we go any farther, I'm not catching up on any super chats, right?
Nope.
Here's the rules, everybody. If you guys have a comment to say that is germane to the conversation, please make sure you send it to us in form of a super chat, and as long as it is relevant and appropriate, we'll do our best to read all of these comments online. Brittany will be the keepress of the chat for today. And let me see, what was the other one? Oh, yes. Make sure you guys like the stream. As you guys are coming into the stream, make sure that you guys give us a like on your way in. And yeah, we're actually, we're going to be having a lot of fun here. We got some cool comments from members. All right. I saw a hilarious comment that says fruit snacks and crowns. Yes, from the Dove Nets. And also Ready to Go by Brian Dobkins. Okay. And our boy, it's not coming up. That Dorston Graves reprimands us for saying, must not forget the associate professor of all things apocryphal, which is, yes, the true, that needs to be a new calling in the church. You know what I'm saying?
Are we doubling up? Are we doubling up on callings now?
Yes, exactly. No, I just think that needs to be a new calling in the church, right? So anyway, we got a really fun show planned ahead of us. But before we go any farther, Megan,
Hey.
you're new to the studio, all right, and you're new to the crew and this whole 9 yards. I just met you literally like 3 minutes before we went live, just on the recommendation of Scott here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to know the church, how you ended up dating a professional wrestler. Like only in Los Angeles do you end up getting like a guy like me and Brittany, you know what I'm saying? And are like just boring, normal. Actually, we have nothing but a boring and normal life, but I don't know. We wish it were boring. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all of a sudden be just sitting next to a giant wrestler on a live stream about the church, man. Like this is kind of crazy. So who are you? What's your story? How'd you get involved in the church? The whole 9 yards. Just give us like the Reader's Digest version, you know?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. This whole thing started when I was in law school, which was horrific and disgusting.
Oh wait, you're a lawyer?
Yeah, don't judge me. I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. We gotta adjust some things here. What I meant to say was good evening.
Hello.
And no, I'm just kidding. Keep going.
You're a lawyer too? Are you serious?
I am.
On top of all this,
Knock it off.
on
This
top
is
of all
so
this, she's a
embarrassing,
lawyer.
but thank you.
Wait, so do you give like legal? Can you help us out like with half these people that like? Jeez, actually, I feel really good. Megan's a lawyer. Woo!
I am. Only licensed in California, so if somebody's, doing
No, I'm
something
going to start
naughty elsewhere-
sending you shows and saying, did we go too hard in the paint? No,
You got
I'm just
it.
kidding. So
You
anyway,
got
keep
it.
going.
You
Keep
got
going.
it.
Keep going.
Okay, so I was super, super miserable. I went to Pepperdine Law School, and one of the cool things that they do is they send a lot of students out on service projects. During one of the service projects, I happened to be roommates with a super positive girl. And I asked her why I always in such a good mood in such a horrific environment. And she said, maybe it's because I went to church. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, okay, church, cool, got it. But then I asked her, what religion are you? She said, I'm Mormon, back when it was okay to say that. Basically, yeah. And so what do? Being the classy person I am, I started asking super cringy questions like, are you still polygamous?
Yeah.
Number one question.
Number one. Number two, are you guys still racist? So.
Oh, snap.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, right.
Really making a nice impression on her friend.
Never mind, Joseph Smith literally had an abolitionist presidential platform. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, now I know. So she gave me a Book of Mormon. She introduced me to missionaries. I investigated the church on and off for 8 years because I was so freaked out by what I was finding out online. And I was too embarrassed to ask the missionary certain questions. So my independent research, the fact that my family is Catholic, et cetera, I just got freaked out for 8 years. And then one day I literally got on my knees and asked if this was the right decision, and I did it. And then I kept it a secret from my family and friends for a year.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
8 years you studied this out?
I did, on and off, not consistently, but yeah. Wow. And I was having some wild nightmares during the process too. And that really freaked me out. Like bad nightmares about this. And I started just getting surrounded by really negative energy. I was getting migraines whenever I would try to open the Book of Mormon. It was nasty.
Well, you were in law school.
Yeah, that was part of it for sure. But I kept going back for some reason. One of my first jobs, I had to fly to Salt Lake to see a client, and I had a lot of extra time. I went to Temple Square, aka Church Disneyland, and I just felt the spirit, and things started getting better, and yeah, eventually I went for it, and I'm so happy.
And she did this all by herself with literally completely independent.
Okay, this is so wild. Okay, so I gotta know. You got this super nice roommate, and you straight up dumped 2 questions on her. Are you polygamous? Not super cringy, super funny. That's actually pretty hilarious. And then, are you still racist? I love the assumptive sale. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so sorry.
What did she say? Just well, I quit in 2009, but it took me until 2010 to get over it, and now I'm not.
Here's the thing. I am the most non-confrontational person there is.
That's true.
I try to be as polite as possible. I am so ashamed that I asked those questions, but that's what was on my mind. And what really stood out about her was the grace at which she answered me. She was so calm and laughed and smiled and simply said no.
Oh, wow.
That's it. And I was even more intrigued. And to this day, she's one of my dearest friends. Just so chill, so calm.
Do we have to give her a shout out? You want to name her?
Yes, please. What's up, Liz Jensen, formerly Liz Jackson, but now she's married and lives in Texas. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't
Jackson?
for her.
Oh, me and her got history.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was about to
You're worried that you just ousted
Liz
her?
Jackson? Oh, no.
No, did you say Jensen or Jackson?
She used to be Jackson, got married to a Jensen.
Okay, so I guess at least the maiden name right. Yeah. No, hopefully somebody doesn't clip this and send it to her without that second half. That would be really funny. But Liz, you go, girl. In fact, once we get our shirts, we're going to send her a shirt, man. We're going to send her a shirt.
Yeah, she's the best.
That's cool. Okay, so law school, man, and just asking the cringy questions, but you dug it. And then, okay, you say I felt the spirit a ton. What pushed you over the edge, man? Was it just, you hadn't met gorgeous man of, I don't want to say steel. I would say man of, you're like a big, not lump. That's a derogatory term. You're like a big wall, like a big fridge.
A big lump.
Like an appliance. I think a large appliance.
Oh, yeah.
So before you met the appliance
This
that would
large
become your
oven.
yes, this exact. No, not quite an oven. Walk-in refrigerator.
This giant meat locker.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This gorgeous specimen of a man. Yeah, was there anything that put you just over in general? Was, like some crazy, I don't know, spiritual revelation, or was it just kind of like a lot of slow things over a period of time? What's your story, man?
So it was a process with extreme lows and extreme highs. I wish I had a better story, but I was sitting in a pew and someone gave a talk about the gift of the Holy Ghost. And I was like, I want that. There we go.
What's that?
Oh, rock
That's
on.
that.
That's cool.
So was Megan, was Liz with you? I mean, she
No.
kind of set the spark, but then for 8 years you studied this thing out. Were you going back to her, peppering her with questions? Were you meeting with missionaries? How did that 8 years go?
Thanks for asking. It was missionaries. I didn't really want to talk about it with her. I already had 2 strikes against me. So I didn't want to ask a third bad question or offend her or anything. So it was the missionaries and Google, sadly. That's why it took me 8 years, because I was doing a lot of research online. And
okay,
yeah.
well, no, actually, I would love to know a little bit more of what your mental process was, because I thought we were going to be talking about a bunch of other stuff, but I can definitely see, like, you are such an incredible case, I'll use a lawyer term here, case history. Or wait, no. Case study. There we go. You're such an interesting case study of like just a regular, nice, cool Southern California girl who's obviously going to be interested in 2 of the most, not slanderous, that's not a good term, but 2 of the most historically, what's the word that starts with a C? Not contentious, controversial. That was the word I was looking for. 2 of the biggest historical controversies of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As a female, obviously you're interested in polygamy. And, you straight up asked your neighbor, like, are you racist? You know what I'm saying? Because of what you read online. And so, what was, not your psychology, how do I word this? Like, what was your process? Like, what got you over what you saw? Because the reason why I asked this is because so many people, we have like 4 demographics predominantly watch our show. We got a lot of young kids that watch our show just because, hey, we're the only pro LDS live stream. And if you want to consume some fun pro LDS stuff and you're looking for a live stream, there's us. Sorry, but by default, that's us, right? 2, we get a ton of people that come from part member families where people will say like, oh, I got married back when I was inactive. Once I started having children, or once I got older, I want to go back to church. And, my husband didn't want to come with me, or else my wife didn't want to come with me. But then, they'd read a lot of stuff online, but I started showing them your debunkings and things like that. And that really kind of softened them. And we've even had like part member families where the dads have gotten baptized and baptized their kids and so on and so forth, because they said, I believe the quote was, oh, if there's room in the church for these guys, there's room for me, and so on and so forth, which is cool. And then a lot of people, and internationally from all over, we've had dudes in Poland reach out to us. We've had dudes in Chicago, Miami, New Zealand, all over, saying, oh, I was investigating the church and I got really shaken up by some stuff I found online after I talked to the missionaries. But then you guys and your debunkings kind of helped, I don't know, ease that. Now, I haven't been able to get a lot of details about like any of the specifics and whatnot, but like, so here you are, you meet this super cool roommate and you're like, oh, well, she's happy because she goes to church, kind of by your fruits you shall know them. And then you met with some missionaries, right? But then you encountered some bogus online stuff. What was the bogus online stuff that spooked you, and how did you get over it?
okay. I came across a lot of angry people. It was very obvious that they were hurt, and that's why they were putting the church on blast. And I really do empathize with them, and I'm sorry that they had such horrific experiences. How I got over it was I kept going to church, and people were nothing but nice to me. And I also really appreciated the sense of community at the church. Everybody had a role to play. The congregation was really the main active participant. It wasn't led by a priest. It wasn't led by a pastor. These were little kids and old people giving talks during church, and I found that so beautiful and comforting.
Same.
So that joy really outweighed the negativity that I came across online.
Wow. Okay, cool. So you met a lot of angry people. Woo! You've described. I was not gonna say.
That's beautiful though. Can I just say, like, I wish like I would go to church and be like, oh, I love seeing that little kid get up, because sometimes I'm like, okay, but like I like that you had like that innocence and you're like the community feel. and I want to see the little kids and the old people, and I want to hear what they have to say because we're all community. I really like that.
Well, she was raised Catholic too, so Catholic mass is quite,
Yeah, that's also interesting. Like
different.
demographically, generally the black church in North America is really Protestant and like has roots in the Northeast of like denominations that go back, 150 to 200 years earlier. Like most of my friends is your family from Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, most of my Los Angeles based friends, I know a lot of black Protestants, not black Catholics. Does your family have like a recent conversion history, or have they always been that way? Do you know a lot of like the religious heritage of your family, or?
Oh boy. My family history is a conversation for another day, so I'll just leave that at that.
No, okay,
That's
cool.
a
No
whole
sweat. No
week-long
sweat.
episode. But they're all Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I went to an all-girl Catholic high school. So, that's how I was raised. We went to church on Christmas and Easter to make sure we got into heaven, and that was the extent of my religious experience.
Wow, interesting. Because like,
Hey, we're just trying to restore Catholicism, right? We're just trying to like take it back to the OG Catholicism.
yeah, because
if you think
what's
about
so
it,
interesting is like there is such a love. Like Joseph Smith loved the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally, there was people that came into Nauvoo and were like trying to like, I don't know, there was some kind of contention or something like that. And what did he say, Jonah Barnes? You know the quote better. He said, if they'll betray the Catholics, they'll betray you. Or what did he say?
Somebody they turned against Catholicism, and they were trying to stir up the Mormons against the local Catholic priest and say, oh, he did these bad things. And Joseph was like, hold on. If somebody will betray the Catholics, they'll betray us too. All these preachers from all these churches, they've been persecuting us for years. But that Catholic priest, he sticks to his flock, he takes care of his people, and he minds his own business. And they were the first, when he wrote the Nauvoo Charter for the city of Nauvoo and founded the city, in the charter, he says, I want to guarantee religious freedom for everybody. And then he listed, and the first religion he listed was Catholicism. So it's
super interesting. And if you think about it theologically, we're basically the same church making the exact same claim of authority. And the question is just whether or not the restoration happened or whether it didn't. And that's why there's that famous story where the Archbishop of, I can't remember the name of that Archbishop, but he met Hugh Nibley and he said, you guys are fools because you don't know what you have, because it's either
the strength of your argument. Yeah.
You don't understand the strength of your very own argument. It's either you or it's us, and everybody else, you know what I'm saying, can't make that same theological claim to authority. So anyway, we got some super really cool interfaith action that's coming up with some of our Catholic brothers and sisters. And from my workings with like Blacks in the Scriptures and things like that before, like the studies show the North American Black church is, by all the measurable quantifiers of spirituality that our church has done and other organizations has done, is the most likely to go to church, the most willing to engage in prayer, the most willing to like attend services with their families, and so on and so forth. In fact, there was a private organization that actually counseled our church. I think it was during like the Genesis Project in the 90s. I can't remember. I have to dig up all this information from the files that I have from research on other projects that I've done. But basically the recommendation was, if the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints actually specifically targeted the North American African-American community, it would be the most successful demographic, so much so that within 2 generations, it would be perceived as a Black church. Like, that's when I used to work with like Marvin Perkins and the Blacks in the Scriptures guys and everything like that. It was like insane, the information I came up with. So anyway, you're just super cool.
Speaking of people joining the church, we have just received the records of Sister A. Millerilla, Fidget the Crazy, KQD, Misfit News, Celestial Saints, Derek McEam, Chelsea Robson, JJD, Just B. Dandy, Bryce Budakoffer. Yes, all those who would like to welcome these 10 new members of the Ward into the Ward Radio Wigwam, the Warship, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
All right.
Sister Amy, Fidget the Crazy. Can you believe this? There's somebody called Fidget the Crazy in the Ward. That's strange. What a strange name. I wonder who that person is.
Yeah,
it's a strange person.
No, that's
Fidget
an awesome
the Crazy.
name. So anyway, all right, cool. So we've got a bunch of members here. W times 10. You're funny, Brittany. That's pretty funny. So anyway, super cool story. Man, so what was? So you're from SoCal. Your family's from SoCal, and you've been a member now for. I just want to make sure before we put this to rest. 8 years it was, right?
Yes, and I'm sorry. Just shout out to you for giving me more knowledge about the Catholic Church in the past 3 minutes than I did from going to Catholic school from 4th grade until I graduated from high school. Like, props to you. That was impressive. We didn't plan this, and you were just spitting knowledge. Good job.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Like, we got members of our show that are actually going to be doing some really fun like interviews with some super prominent Catholic podcasts, and also California history. Like, I was really I was like. Not like angry is not the word, but I was really perturbed when they took the cross off the seal of Los Angeles. Do you remember when that whole kind of like politically correct woke hullabaloo happened where the county seal of Los Angeles, they decided to take the cross off? And I was like, bro, like the 101 is El Camino Real. Like there's 14 missions are what unified the state of Alta California. Like, are you going to literally just erase the identity of the thousands of people that like formed our state's history from basically 1700 to 1900, you know? And then, and like literally San Fernando, it's the closest mission, dude. I love going down there. I like when people come and visit, I love taking them along like the old missions, and you just see the dedication of a lot of those like early Catholics in Alta California. And it's like, whoa, holy smoke. Like Mormons and Catholics basically started California. You know what I'm saying? In its modern political iteration. Like, obviously there was indigenous people here before that. You know what I'm saying? And they're not the only people here. And yes, there was the race with Russia coming down from the Bering Strait as they colonized. And yes, there's entire swaths of history that we can talk about as well. You know, but yeah, like it's like California has such a cool history, whether it's like the Asian populations that built the railroads and came here, or whether it was the Catholic monks, or whether it was the fur trappers, or like the Mormons that fought in the Mormon battalion and then built their way up through San Diego. It's like a pretty unique place. Oftentimes people think there was just a bunch of cowboys out here, and they don't realize it has like a pretty wild history. So anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm veering verbose. I'm like a history nut. It's like good for like
embarrassing. He's kind of a nerd.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
kind of.
I'm just
kind
kidding.
of a nerd.
Yeah. So Jonah, what do you have to say, bro?
So I wanted to ask. So all right. So for 8 years, you're kind of stewing on this. You're kind of in the background, kind of learning on this, kind of growing, kind of getting over things, kind of feeling better about it. And then you said that you knelt down and you prayed about your decision, and then for a year you had to keep it secret. Tell us about that. So your family, you weren't so excited to come out and tell everybody. What was that last year like?
Oh gosh, you know, again, I am very non-confrontational, and my role in my family is peacekeeper. I wasn't trying to ruffle anybody's feathers. I didn't want to get them up to speed on what I had been doing for the past 8 years. I didn't feel comfortable. Furthermore, I asked my bishop to keep my baptism private. I had the minimum amount of people to make it official at my baptism.
Oh, jeez.
Really?
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it was a private party, and I didn't want to ruin this moment. It was so sacred and special to me. I was forming this new relationship with God, and it was just sacred. That's the only word that keeps coming to mind, and I did not have the mental capacity to deal with any nonsense or questions or anything negative. So I kept it very near and dear to my heart.
You're like those girls that don't want to have like a big wedding. You just want it to be at the county courthouse.
Let's go.
You're like Jennifer Lopez in that one movie where she's the wedding planner. Do you remember that? And she
It's
like
literally called The Wedding Planner. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
Hey, was that dude? I love you have what's it called, millennial girls in the studio when like the best home run you hit all day is naming the rom-com from the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
I will speak about rom-coms.
Yeah. So hey, did I nail? Was it a solid reference?
Yes.
Very good.
Is that like top 5?
I gotta watch it again.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. But the ultimate, if you can quote The Notebook, that's the ultimate millennial rom-com right there. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, cool. So anyway, all right, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, but that was awesome. Jonah,
it's a great
hit us.
story.
Well,
Great story.
just a follow-up question there, Megan. Sorry, I'm like interrogating you. This is like cross-examination. You have to be ready in the courtroom for cross-examination, right?
That's right.
Megan, you got to be ready for any question. okay?
Yes, bring it.
Discovery, they call this, right? Is this called discovery?
Very good. Yes.
Hey, I don't know rom-coms, but I don't. Okay, so so then, how about now? Do they?
Oh yeah.
Are they better with it now? Do they know what's going on?
Absolutely. And I want to back up a little bit. I didn't do it completely alone. This guy, when we first dated about a decade ago, he came to one of my missionary lessons, which was so cool. So cool. So it's like the seed was planted in both of us. So just wanted to give him a shout out.
Actually, her aunt and uncle and mom were at my baptism.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it all worked
You had
out.
legal representation that early in life, huh, bro? You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. So, it's a quick question. Again, this is my last question. Okay, we're like totally like dissecting your life, and now it's all on display. You know, on this live stream.
Discovery.
So, what were some of the arguments that freaked you out that you said you found out online? I wrote down 2 questions. I wrote down. You already answered what your poor roommate said when you asked her the cringy questions. That was funny, but like, was there anything specific that
She said they were angry people.
Well, no, I know you said that they were angry. Was it just that energy that was the turn off and freaked you out, and it was just the vibe, or was there like any specific arguments where you thought, oh, holy smoke, so and so said what, or else so and so did what, and then was it contextualized and that kind of debunked it? I know that's a very right-brained approach and so on and so forth, but like, was there anything specific, or was it really just like a social vibe? Everybody's different, what was yours?
So the overarching theme was that it was a cult, basically. It was a cult full of brainwashed people that all looked alike, and that couldn't be further from the truth. But it did scare me because some people did have some compelling arguments, but it's not a cult. I go willingly.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And another thing that I've always said to people is, I'm like, dude, you think we're a cult, dude? The average ward in Orem, Utah, the supposedly like most white place on the planet, right? I swear has more cultural and racial diversity than 90% of these ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon forums do.
No kidding.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, dude, come to church with me in LA. Like, literally, I know the difference between like every Sunday, Jerry Consulian would get up. I know all of Armenia's history, how the YANs are coming from a different part of town than the IANs, and how this part was part of the USSR and that part wasn't, and so on and so forth. And he barely escaped because he was he used to be a Greek Orthodox priest who refused to give up his religion when the Soviets came into his town and said, you need to shut the church down, and so on and so forth. So he had a death sentence and had to get smuggled out of the USSR. And he would like literally get up, and he was this big booming Armenian guy that said, brothers and sisters, today I testify to you. So he would get up, you know what I'm saying? And then we'd have like a guy that was NCAA ref that used to be like a professional athlete, looked like straight out of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Looked just like who was the guy on the Miami Heat that used to play? Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? Would go and give his testimony. Yeah. And then some short, Lindsey Sterling lookalike would get up there and then talk. And you're just like, what? The crazy most diverse experience I have all week is literally going to church.
Going to Mormon church.
You know what I'm saying? Like going to Mormon church because like they're unified by this concept of the gospel in Jesus Christ. And it's like so cool.
Hey, Cardin.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up on, we have 2 super chats.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Catch some of the super chats.
So Silent says, take the gold pill and read your pirate Bible.
Oh, yes, that's true. Megan has yet to be initiated into the waters of the pirate Bible.
What?
Scott, did we read the pirate Bible when you left?
We did, yeah.
Okay, there's a new translation in town too. Have you seen the new Gen Z translation of the Book of Mormon yet?
No.
No, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is like playing with fire, but we're going to go for it just really fast. Okay, so here's the pirate Bible, Megan.
Okay.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
One of the funniest videos we did last year was there was an
Brace yourself.
Yeah, brace yourself. There was an evangelical anti-Mormon who literally called out the pirate Bible as a Trojan horse for Mormonism, because apparently there's this company that is really cool, guys and gals of no real particular denomination. It's a company with employees from all kinds of diverse backgrounds, but they programmed AI to recognize King James English and converted it into 1700s, 18th century pirate speech.
Lies you tell.
No. And this is the funnest experience you'll have literally all year. So just really fast, it's kind of this fun thing we do when new guests come in our studio. Do you have a favorite scripture from the Bible?
Proverbs 3, 5 through 6.
Okay, what's Proverbs 3, 5 through 6 usually say?
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. On your own intelligence rely not. In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will keep straight your path.
Okay, that was beautiful. As I'm looking for, so here's Proverbs 5, 3 through 5. So say that one more time again, really fast.
Proverbs 3, Cardin. 5 through 6.
Oh, okay. I'm in Proverbs 3, and then
Yeah.
here's 5 through 6. Yeah.
Yep.
So just what is that verse again?
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. On your own intelligence rely not. In all your ways be mindful of him, and he will keep straight your path.
Okay, so this is what you should have said.
Oh, okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
you should have said, "Avast me hearties, put your trust in the good old Lord above, and be sure not to put faith in the puny mind of your own. Shiver me timbers, be sure you know yet respect for the sea and his power, and he'll steer you true in your voyages ahead. Avast, don't be thinking you're shrewd. Show your respect to the captain and steer clear of them wickedness."
That's amazing. That's so much better.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
That's so
So
good.
true, no joke.
Okay,
And-
now read out of the Gen Z.
Okay, yeah. Now now somebody else picked up on this, okay? And now they've given us the Gen Z Book of Mormon, the unofficial Chat GPT translation for Gen Z by Barrows Smith. All right. Yes, I'm telling you. I know this is welcome to the jungle. All right. Welcome to the jungle. Okay. And now we're going to read your favorite scripture in the Book of Mormon according to the Gen Z translation. So what's your favorite scripture in the Book of Mormon?
You're gonna have to help me out on that one.
What's one that you
Surprise
remember
me.
from church? And Jonah, he'll be able to help us out because he's like a
Here you
scriptorian.
go. Try 2 Nephi chapter 4, verse 34. 2 Nephi chapter 4, verse 34. This is the most like the Proverbs that we just.
Okay, so here's 2 Nephi chapter 4 verse. Now, can you just read it? What
So
it
I'll
says
read-
in
I'll
the
read
normal
the
Book of
regular.
Mormon?
So-
Okay.
Yeah, so this 2 Nephi chapter 4, verse 34. O Lord, I have trusted in thee, and I will trust in thee forever. I will not put my trust in the arm of the flesh, for I know that cursed is he that putteth his trust in the arm of the flesh. Yea, cursed is he that putteth his trust in man, or maketh flesh his arm.
Okay, cool. So here's the Gen Z translation. It's 434, right?
Yep.
Okay, so here we go, Megan. God, I trust you, and I'll always trust you. I won't trust people or my own strength because that's a bad move. I know God will give me what I need if I ask him, so I'm going to ask him for help, and he'll give me what I need. My voices always go to God, my rock, and my God forever. Amen. Bro. You know?
That's a bad move.
That's a bad move.
Bad.
You know what I'm saying? Dude,
that's amazing.
I am loving these AI translations. And Jonah, you actually brought up last week, if I'm not mistaken, do we have another translation episode on the horizon? Because
Oh.
didn't you find a
Dude.
biblical Gen Z translation?
They've translated the entire Bible into Gen Z, and it is amazing.
What's
So-
it called? We got to look it up right now really fast. And
let's
let's see
see.
if they have some, let's see just really fast if they have some example verses. Is it
It
just
is the
called?
New Testament for Gen Z.
Okay.
It is the New Testament for Gen Z, the unofficial Chat GPT translation for Gen Z. Yo, fellow Gen Z peeps, check out the New Testament for Gen Z. It's a dope modern adaptation of the religious text that's specifically tailored for us.
Oh,
And it sounds amazing. I've heard just a couple of verses, and they're
dude.
amazing.
Okay, so here's the Book of Mormon for Gen Z, but the New Testament, is it the same company right here?
It looks like it's the same because it's
Yeah.
shaped.
Well, it's by
Oh,
Broseph
actually, you know
Smith.
what? It is the same because guess who wrote this one?
Oh, Broseph Smith. Oh, that
Broseph
is
Smith.
hilarious. Okay, so here's the original text. that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. Well, the updated version, and updated or upgraded, you know what I'm saying? That's we'll have to get into the legalisms of that. I say upgraded. The updated version, all right, literally says, keep your acts of kindness hush, 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 and your heavenly Father who sees everything will give you props for real, like in public and stuff. Now, when it comes to praying, don't be like those hypocrites. They love showing off, praying loud and clear in the synagogues and on street corners so people will notice them. But let me tell you, they've already got what they're after. That is freaking hilarious, dog.
Good stuff.
So what unofficial Chat GPT, I feel that's kind of overplayed. You know what I'm saying? What kind of translation are we going to have to make for Ward Radio, dog? What's a cool translation that we're going to have to do that will be unique to this show? Like,
we could do a caveman or Ninja Turtle translation or a caveman translation.
A Ninja Turtle or a caveman translation. Okay, that could be cool. What language could we translate it into that would be fun and interesting? There's been some weird languages historically that I can think of.
What about like surfer talk?
Yeah, but so much of surfer talk has been incorporated into Gen X and Millennial Gen Z stuff already. There's the old Deseret alphabet. Do you remember the Deseret alphabet?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, dude. Scott, you know what the Deseret alphabet is, bro?
What's that?
Dude, okay, so Brigham Young, like literally, the North American continent had a lot of problem with just like othering people and racism in the early 1900s. There's actually a period of time where they said that Mormons are not the same race as us and need to be confined to the West on a giant reservation, basically kind of like the Indians, like they'd done to the Indians. And they literally tried to say like, we're a different race. They use like skull analysis and joke.
Phrenology.
Yeah, phrenology.
Phrenology.
Like, they weren't just racist against Native Americans. They weren't just racist against African Americans. They literally threw Mormons in there as well. All right. And tried to like prove that we weren't the same people. Okay.
Well, one of the things that they couldn't get over is that we openly would preach to these people who they considered subhuman. So we were fine preaching to blacks and to Indians, a lot of Indians. We specifically went and preached to the natives quite a lot, and that freaked them out big time. And we would even marry them. We would even have them come with us and integrate with them. And they thought that was so heretical that they started to say, you guys are like a different race. You're not like us. You're like a different.
And so like many of the early church pioneers actually kind of like embraced this whole thing when the state of Deseret was like formed and was outside of the United States and stuff, to the point of even suggesting a new and simplified language. So like they literally, Brigham Young had commissioned, wasn't it a new type of shorthand or some kind of written language that was called like the alphabet of Deseret? Or something.
It was an alphabet, and it was in simplified characters because English isn't totally phonetic. It's kind of hard language. There were so many people coming from Scandinavia and from Germany and from all these different places that spoke different languages, and they wanted to help people integrate together better. And instead of just saying, I'll learn English, they came up with their own kind of Deseret alphabet, and it was used for a while, and then it was eventually discontinued because it was a little too hard. But this is just like what you were saying, Megan. Like people come into the church, and if they're in, Layton, Utah, and all they see is the church in Layton, Utah, they assume that the entire church is like Layton, Utah.
Sure.
If they come in this place and they think that must apply everywhere, and so they'll say things like, "Oh, it's an all white church," or "It's an all American church." When I served my mission in Russia. And they would say, "Oh, you're an American church." But you have people who are born and raised, their grandparents have been members of the church in, the Horn of Africa or Brazil or wherever, and they don't know anything. They don't know anything except the church that they grew up in. And so they look at the church and they think the whole church is Portuguese, and we get kind of siloed and we think that our experience must apply to the whole world. But one of the defining characteristics of the Church of Jesus Christ is that it is totally global, all over the world, and they don't need permission to love and pray and worship in their own language, in their own way, in their own places.
Dude, and translating the Book of Mormon is like one of the super most cool doctrinal things out there. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but there's the famous apocryphal story where when they were translating into like Swahili, I think was the African language, they realized that there was no word in that language specifically for brother. There was only older brother or younger brother. And so when they were translating the first book of Nephi, they had to approach the brethren, the prophet, and say, okay, we got a problem here. What was Sam? Wow. There's Nephi, Lehi, Sam, Sariah, and we know that like Laman and Lemuel were like brothers and so on and so forth. And he does say, I Nephi, your younger brother. Okay. So we know that Laman and Lemuel were older and there was some kind of birth order here, right? But what was Sam? And so they actually had to pray and receive like revelation and then say that like, okay, Sam was a younger brother. And in order to make it into the Swahili translation, they had to like use the word for younger brother. And Jonah, do you remember the super crazy, I don't want to say cringe because that word is overused, but it was a hard episode to watch. There was that one episode of Star Trek where they tried to use, I think the name of the language was called Pidgin English, right? They tried to develop a type of English in the 70s that would be super easy and truncated for like immigrants to learn because it's hard. Like real English, the PH that we have comes from Greek. You know, that's why if the Greek spelling of Stephen is Stephen and the English spelling is Stephen. And then like in Spanish, the Greek influences you to say el mapa, which is actually incorrect. You should technically say la mapa. And we have all these influences from all kinds of different languages, so much so that we have like vulgar Latin words, French words, English words, and none of the spelling makes sense. Like none of the spelling makes sense. Like why is quiet and quite spelled literally almost the exact same way with just one E that's different. And none of our linguistic rules make sense. And it takes forever to learn our language and speak it properly. So a bunch of like basically linguistic scientists got together and they tried to develop like a simplified form of English where just there was no like C and K, there was only K. And then there was only an F, there was no PH, and all these odd different pronunciations were kind of eliminated. And to kind of like further this idea, they did an entire Star Trek episode in that language, I think.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, I think they tried to film it and it failed, or maybe they had the alien language was like this Pidgin English, I think it was called. I don't remember the exact terminology of it or everything, but I've seen clips of like William Shatner like trying to speak in this broken, super simplified English, and it's like really funny and hilarious, as well as the videos of, have you seen the videos where AI has stabilized the camera of when the
ship shakes.
When the ship shakes. So
so good.
Scott, you're a wrestler. You're no you're no stranger, shall I say, to having to fake it till you make it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they used to shake the cameras whenever the missiles hit the Star Trek Enterprise. Sure. Yeah. Well, now people have gone on and applied the filters, the camera stabilizing filters to those scenes. And like you literally just see not Sir Ben Kingsley, who's
Leonard Nimoy?
Not Leonard Nimoy. That's the old Star Trek. The new one, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Patrick Stewart. Yeah. So you literally see like Patrick Stewart sitting there and it's going to be like, everybody, brace for impact. You know what I'm saying? And just like wiggling around. And it is like the most funny and freaking hilarious thing, second only to the super cringe skits that I had to do in the 80s and 90s. Personally, I think you guys that are converts, like totally that's the way to go because you didn't have to do those super cringy road shows in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? As a young man. Or Trek, that just kind of stuff.
Oh, don't get me started on Trek.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to skip out on girls' camp. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you actually, Scout Camp was actually fun. So you did kind of miss out on that one, Scott. But,
okay, we forgot about Nicole Terry's.
Oh, yeah, we got to hit those super chats. And, dude, we're already 51 minutes in, man. We barely finished with the intro of our live stream. We haven't even gotten to the meat of this. But, you know, I see everybody liking the stream. Thank you so much. If you got any more questions, hit us with the super chat here. We're just trying to have a fun little live stream for an hour here today on a Thursday night.
Okay, so Nicole Terry says, sorry if this was already asked. I came in a little late. Scott and Megan, how did you meet each other?
Oh.
They want to know the story.
Embellish if you have to, bro. I fully support this, dog.
I mean, obviously, I'm the hot one in this relationship.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, dude.
Obviously.
I'm crushing, bro. I'm crushing.
So it's about as normie of a conversation as you can get. We met on a website.
eHarmony. Don't make it seem sketchy.
Nice.
Yeah, like dot. Unbelievable. eHarmony, totally legit.
Was it like Bob's Classy Lady? And you're like, who was that one that was up there on stage 3, man? Like let's specify. It was I forgot about eHarmony. What happened to them, bro?
Well, let's back up. So we met in 2011.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we broke up in 2011 or late 2011. Then we got back together in 2013.
Wait, who broke up with who?
Oh.
She broke up with you?
Oh,
Yeah.
savage.
So she left the big piece of furniture, whatever he said. So we broke up twice. We're apart for 10 years, and then magically kind of got back together.
Wow.
Which can only be attributed
Magically.
can only be attributed to God. There's no other reason for this, and it was kind of under interesting circumstances. We had both had an interesting 10 years, ups and downs. A lot of people heard what I've been doing, last time I was on here, but she kind of, I was in kind of a weird space like 3-4 months ago, and we just started talking, and we hadn't talked for a long time, and we just came back together, and it's just different now than it was before, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll be a tiny bit more specific, give the people what they
Please.
Oh, yeah.
I was in some rough relationships, and one of those people started acting up, and I reached out to the refrigerator and said, I'm scared.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was like, say less. And he got in his car and he came over. We hadn't seen each other for a decade, but
That would be terrifying.
I mean, it all worked out.
Can you put your beanie down just a little bit lower to just look even a little bit more thug, like when you got out of that car? Oh yeah, that is awesome. That's like
Fool.
Also,
Yeah.
how cute that after 10 years you still had his number.
Oh, I've had it memorized ever
Aw,
since. Yeah. So
That's cute.
all right.
No, but the thing is I always it was a deal where I had never given up on her. I had kind of always thought we would reconnect someday. Didn't know exactly how or why.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would be because some guy was messing with her and I had to come help her out. It wasn't like I helped her. I mean, but it was just, and it's just been, I can't, other than God, I don't know how to describe this.
Dude, I don't know what I would fear more in that situation if I were that guy. You and this massive wall of flesh running at me, or the fact that she's a lawyer and could just like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know which one is worse, man. I don't know which one I would fear.
Her stepdad's in law enforcement. I mean,
oh, really?
He couldn't pick a worse scenario.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bummer.
yeah. But that was in December. Scott got baptized in January, and here we are.
Wow.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. We met in 2011. She wasn't, neither one of us were in the church, but that's when she was exploring.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So how's it been for you, man, since you were on the show? Any of your friends said anything, or just been like, dude, this is only like your 5th week a member of our church, right, bro?
Yeah. Well, that the talk I gave at state conference was it seemed like it impacted a lot of people. Everybody I talked to comes up to me and says, "Oh, it's so nice." I think being an older convert is a real special thing. Because I'm so old, like no one converts.
Well, no, I got to tell you, like that's one of the things. I have nothing but respect for anybody that converts in their adult years, whether you're 18 years old or whether you're 95 years old, because our world is so consumer driven here, especially in North America. And our ethos are so selfish and egotistical, and we chase that US dollar to the detriment of our spirituality, to the detriment of our human relationships, to the detriment of our relationship with ourselves, with our family, with God. Forget that altogether.
Yeah.
And so people that actually kind of just seriously consider their spirituality to such a degree that they actually take time out of their day to investigate like their faith and learn these new religious practices like prayer and going to church on Sunday. Like, I view these people as like just spiritual giants. I feel so lucky I was raised in the church. Like, I would have been a statistic if not for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I am so completely willing to openly say that like being raised a member of the church, like, saved me from 7 different vices.
We were talking about that a while back.
Yeah.
How we're kind of envious of people that grew up in this life, because for me, this is a big part of life now. I look forward to Sundays. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Get to see all our friends and learn things and,
just don't learn how to play the piano, and then you won't like it so much. No, keep going. You like it,
but it's really life changing in the most positive way, and my admiration and trust of her is what kind of led me to believe this was the right choice, even though I had considered it for years, and I've always kind of been like a closet Mormon, anyways, with my lifestyle. And it's been great, and there's been so many different opportunities that have come up with. She talked last week at church and gave an amazing talk.
Cool.
And we get home, and she has somebody trying to offer her a job.
Wow.
Really?
That heard the talk, and it's just the blessings that can come from this are real.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty crazy, man.
It really is.
So okay, so you're 5 weeks in, it was, right?
5 weeks in, yeah.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So, Jonah, you were raised in the church. Brittany, you were raised in the church. I was gonna say, I don't know what the chat. You guys are gonna have to help us out. How many of you guys are adult converts to the church? I know that there's tons of people that we've spoken with in the chat before. What's like a rite of passage for an adult member of the church? You know what I'm saying? Like, we were with Scott during one of his first rites of passage where he found out about anti-Mormons, and that surprised him. And he's like, "Wait, what?"
That was so crazy to me. And we were watching. I had her watch the video of some girl talking bad stuff about you, and we're just
all of them. Yeah, they all do.
Like, what are these people like? How is this their goal in life to be anti-Mormon? Like, what kind of calling is that?
Yeah, it's odd.
I call them
dude.
Bergens. Have you guys seen the Trolls movie? The Trolls cartoon movie?
No.
Well.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty
Go
hardcore.
home and watch it, and then you'll see the
Yeah.
Bergens.
That's what they are.
And there you go.
No, it's nuts. And we do a lot of debunkings on this show about a lot of the claims, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's just like, whoa, dude.
Well, so many of these arguments are so weak, and just like last time, hey Scott, what do you think about the church being racist? Well,
Yeah.
this is I mean, this is a successful, beautiful, smart, intelligent person that can do anything in the world and be anywhere she wants to be, and this is where she chooses to be. So what does that say?
Oh, dude, that is so funny. What do you guys hold hands when you walk into church?
Of course.
Well,
What's that like?
no.
Do you?
No.
Okay, well,
I mean,
You
you're
have to like
6 foot.
stoop over.
Yeah, you're like 6'10".
no,
like,
it's because we're not married.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're
We
saying.
hold hands everywhere else, but we're very. We have.
You guys, do people date and hold hands going to church all the time?
I know.
I'm just nervous, and I don't like attention, and I feel like if there's any type of physical contact, that like, oh,
Does
when's
Scott
the
embarrass
wedding?
you?
No.
Does Scott embarrass you?
Yeah.
Is
Does
that
he
what you're saying?
embarrass me? Oh,
I can't believe you just
She
said that on
doesn't.
it. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, she doesn't want attention, but she's like with the most easy to find person in the world. So I don't know.
She's trying to hide behind you, Scott.
there
that
you
could
go.
be.
So wait, no, but like Megan, like, do you have to wear like? I don't think Christian Louboutin makes 10-inch heels. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do?
We just work it out. I just reach up high, and he. Yeah, it's fine.
Have you just been on a date in the mall and did somebody come up and just ask like, is this man kidnapping you? Like,
You know what's absolutely fascinating to watch is how many
what?
people they'll try to look at something just beyond him to stare at him, and it drives me insane. I just want to say he's 6'10", like, and he's just so sweet. He doesn't know what's going on, but I'm at eye level with normal height people, and everyone stares at him. So that kind of bothers me a
Dude,
little bit.
that is so funny. Okay, we're already into 2 minutes overtime here. We only got 10 minutes left, guys. If you got any questions, make sure you get them in the super chat here and stuff like that. But I will say this, and tall guy to tall guy, I was in the hospital in the emergency room recently, and a security guard walked in that was no, not a big deal. I was dropping off a friend that had an issue, but I was waiting for him, and I was kind of pacing inside of the emergency room. Ended up not being a big deal. In fact, actually, the nurse kind of savaged my friend and said, like, the kidney stone was only 16 millimeters. You know what I'm saying? I was like, geez, lady. You know what I'm saying? But security guard walks in, and no joke, like 6'11". I think he might have been 7 feet in, like he had to go through the door frame and everything like that. And I walked up to him, you know what I'm saying? I just looked at him, and I gave him a fist bump, and I said, not going to say it, bro. Not going to say it. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, you get it. You get it, man. Give me that fist bump. And he was like, I was his favorite person, like, all day. I was just like, I'm not going to say it, bro. I'm not going to say it.
Well,
and then what does everybody else say?
Of course they say, how tall are you? But listen,
you're tall.
Everywhere we go,
Uh-huh.
I don't even think people stare at me, to be honest. Like she's striking to look at, right? So she wants to be this person that's, I just want to be behind, I want to keep a low profile. Well, it doesn't happen. Everywhere we go.
Sorry, you got a big smile and a beautiful face. You're going to be on our thumbnails. You're going to be on our thumbnails, Megan. Sorry. You know what I'm saying?
you.
So just whether you like it or not.
I just wanted to bring this back to the holy book here, guys.
Yeah.
What we're talking about with
this was a long segue from AI chat GPT translations, man.
I wanted to bring this back to the holy book. Okay, so if we can all just be a little reverent here. I've inserted Scott in here. Scott, what's your last name?
Barrows.
Barrows.
Barrows, yeah.
This is from Samuel 17, chapter 17, verse 4. A fearsome champion of the camp of the Philistines did come. Scott Barrows, a Gath he were, a giant of 6 cubits a span. Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful.
Dude,
That
funny.
is beautiful. That's a tear.
Hey, bro, do you know about the giants in the Old Testament, dog?
So there's a guy named Steve Quayle. I don't know if he does. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but he's written about giants before, way back when.
Legit? Really? What did he come up with?
There's like bodies. There's skeletons like 10 feet tall.
No joke. I asked that question of Jim Gee, and he was like, I've excavated the tomb in Jordan of an Israeli man that was over 7.5. Like judging by his femurs, he would have on the low end been 7.5 feet, on the high end like 9 feet tall. Yeah, and it's like, dude, how do you like what? Like that. That's more than just a thyroid issue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, holy smoke! Like, and then I didn't even know there was giants in the Book of Mormon. This is like how not illiterate I was, but I was on my mission in Argentina, and we were doing IPE, which is Iniciativa Propia, which means door knocking, so on and so forth. In between 2 appointments, we decided we knock some doors, meet some new people, see if we can't get some contacts that way, and so on and so forth. And so literally, I knocked on the door, and this guy comes out, and he goes, "Oh, Ivan Drago, te busca, Rocky, te busca." He was like, Ivan Drago. Like, all the time, they said I looked like Ivan Drago back when I was skinny and actually had the Polish
that's
jawline.
That's an incredible compliment, by the way.
Yeah, no. And then, like, he was like, ¿sabes qué? And I was like, what? And he's like, vos sos de la Biblia, uno de los gigantes. And he was like, you're from the Bible, one of the giants. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, the giants. And he named the verse. He's straight up like, he was like I don't know if he wasn't even like a pastor or something. He's like, he's like Genesis 6:2. And there were
6:4.
Oh, Genesis 6:4. Yeah, he's like, in Genesis 6:4, your parents were amongst the great ones, men of renown. And I was like, what? And I go to the Bible. There's like 12 verses about giants in the Old Testament, right? So, Jonah, you're the associate professor of all things apocryphal. Like, should we be believing more in giants, or do we think it was just like the naturalist, it was a thyroid issue? Like, people try and say Goliath was like Andre the Giant or something, illuminate us, dog.
In the Apocrypha, there's a whole book called The Book of the Giants. And it's all about the giant. They have their own book, not just a couple verses. There's a whole book. So you got your whole book, your people. You could read about your people.
I have to. I've got to. That'll be my
find out where you come from.
For sure. I
know?
need to know.
Hey, so bro, what's the coolest thing you've ever done? Okay, so I just got to know, bro. And I'm sorry, you're probably tired about talking about your physical stature, but it's so cool and it's so fun at your expense. What's the coolest thing about being your size? And what's the most annoying thing about being your size?
Well, flying is the worst, hands down. But she knows something. The really annoying thing is shopping. She buys most of my clothes, so she can tell you, like,
It's unbelievable. I get angry over a few things. One of which is the fact that the world was not made for 7 feet tall men.
Oh yeah, dude. Brittany's 5'8", and we can't get dresses that like fit her.
That
And
go long enough, and it's like,
Oh gosh.
and I'm only 5'8".
yeah, dude. So
yeah.
what's your inseam, bro? I gotta know. What's your inseam?
This is the funny part.
Are you in the 40s yet, bro?
No. This is the funny part of the
Okay.
story.
Yeah.
I'm built like Fred Flintstone, so my inseam's 34.
That's
probably
it?
the same as Brittany's. Yes, I'm all torso.
I'm a 36.
Yes,
dog.
I am torso personified.
Really?
Yes,
Gosh,
Yogi Bear.
I'm 34.
We have the same inseam. Yeah.
So wait.
Holy
So
cow.
do your hoodies just like are they like? Is this like your little hoodies? Are your hoodies like a
Yes,
little
crop
crop
tops.
top, bro?
Yeah, no, she
You're like
always
Triangle
says,
Man.
I am. She's always like, wow, you have the most interesting body. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm built like Yogi Bear. I know. I get it.
Dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my inseam is inordinately short.
So what's the coolest thing about just being just the biggest guy anybody's ever seen?
Well, I get to do some good stuff. Like I get to do movies, and I got to be a good basketball player, and I get to, I don't have to worry about getting picked on or thrown into a locker or anything like that.
Be honest, has somebody ever tried to start a fight with you?
Good question.
No,
No?
never. No.
Bro, I almost like want to pay somebody.
No one's ever
Like just like brave to just
You
like
can't afford it, Garden. We couldn't afford that.
no one's ever really, and everybody talks about these stories of getting in street fights. I'm like, how does that happen? No one's ever
yeah.
no, I've never, other than beating up the Mexican like I told you last time. And
Well, let's be
wrestling
specific.
I was about to say.
The lucha libre. The Mexican citizen who participated in lucha libre.
the luchador.
Yeah, no, he did not commit a hate crime in the wash in Los Angeles.
No.
Right?
And it was sanctioned. It was not
That is so crazy. Yeah, I got to tell you, I lived up in Harlem, right, in New York, and when I was there, I was like, okay, kind of a rough neighborhood. I didn't know it was like a really rough
Harlem's
neighborhood
rough.
that I'd rented. Not all parts of it, but the part
Yeah.
I was in was outside of the range of student housing
Yeah.
and into like the range of you may not want to live here
Yeah.
and walk home at night. And literally, I would have people just say like, dude, are you okay up there? Like, are you desperate? And I was like, dude, I'm just fine. I get out of the subway and I walk to my house.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was walking with a group of young people from the church and I was in back that all of a sudden I started to hear all the people making like cat calls at the girls and also calling out, because when the drug dealers walk by, they'll be like, coke, 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 coke. They'll be like, crack, 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 crack. Or else they'll say like weed, 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 weed. And they'll just say it like really low when you're walking by so that people know that, oh, that's what they're selling. It wasn't until I was lost in this crowd of people that they didn't see who I was. And it was hilarious because this guy walks by and he's starting to say it. And there was another guy on the other side that was making like some call outs to the girls or whatever like that. And as they're walking by and they're looking out of the corner, then they see me and they go, oh, and they just like, you know what I say? They just like cover what they got. And they're like, oh, and you'll hear them, they'll say like, they all thought I was cops whenever I went out with my buddies that were like in the film crew and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it wasn't until I was out with a group of much smaller people and a lot more females, and I was like at the edge and I could see how they were treated before people saw me. I realized, oh, that's what they're worried about. And I was like, oh yeah, that never happens to me.
No, No. She likes walking through like crowded places with me because we can get through pretty quick.
Oh, it's the parting of the Red Sea. That's amazing.
Shut up, really? What's
Yes.
it like? What happens, dude?
People just move. They move when they see him. I mean, he's the nicest person on the planet. Like, he wants to fight nobody, but when people see Scott coming, they move.
Yeah. So
stare.
for those of you guys that are just tuning in right now that may not have been here during our last live stream or during the beginning of this live stream, our buddy Scott here, all right, was actually, he's an actor. He's a stunt man. He does all kinds of cool stuff. But also for a short period, actually a long period of time, he was a professional wrestler in some of the circuits throughout the Midwest and the East, as well as you were in WCW Nitro, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I forget there's always WWF, WWE, WCW, and then all the others. But yeah, he was in WCW Nitro in the early 2000s, smashing chairs on the back of I don't know who, but throwing folks into tables that were very conveniently sawn right down the half right before you reached them.
No, if the table's gimmicked at all, then it's going to hurt when you go through. You want the table to be fairly solid so it breaks your fall.
Oh wait, they don't. I always thought that they would halfway saw through it to like score the edge so that it smashes in the middle when they fall on it.
Because you use the same type of table that's very weak in the middle. There's some tables that aren't made to break, so you don't want to mess with those that have metal in them. But no, if it's too soft, you're going to get hurt because you go straight through.
Oh my
you
gosh!
You want something to break it a little bit.
So it's like half real?
Yeah.
Dude, what's crazy is the metal chairs.
Yeah.
Like you'll see the bend in the metal chairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care who you are, man. You take one of those on the noggin.
Oh, it's going to ring your bell. You're going to be loopy for a minute for sure.
Oh,
dude.
So I have a question for Scott. What do you have a calling?
Nursery leader.
I do. Well, they gave me a calling.
Nursery leader?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be. She's the she
Sunbeam
teaches.
teacher.
She's a Sunbeam teacher.
Cute.
Oh, you're a Sunbeam teacher?
But she's
that's
well
the
educated and has a
best.
pretty smile.
She's perfect. for
Like
it.
what?
No, that's the best.
Please tell me they put you in the nursery and you're like trying to give little like goldfish to like, the 24-month-old.
The lawyer feeding goldfish to the 3-year-olds.
She should. I mean, we'll get back to your question, Jonah, but she should be the face of the church.
Babe, knock it off, please. This is
Like this is
embarrassing.
if you want to get new people, like if you want to bring in new. Ask anyone watching this if you want to bring in new.
I agree, Scott.
Like
I
she
agree.
should be on billboards.
Babe.
Yeah.
Scott,
I'm serious.
We have her on camera here tonight. We're
We're
we've
buying
already
the billboard.
clipped her face several times.
I mean, she should be.
I'm dying. Thank
No,
you
go-
so much. I'm so embarrassed.
Okay, so what's your calling,
yeah,
Scott?
what's your
Okay,
calling,
okay.
Scott?
What's your calling, dog?
Well, so they gave me it's with youths, but it was Tuesday nights, so I couldn't get there on Tuesday nights, so we're looking for a new calling.
Okay,
bro,
cool.
please tell me you're going to teach the youth how to do pro wrestling moves.
mean, we
I
could.
will buy the tables. Bro, no, you don't understand. Ward Radio Wigwam. If you can make it to Los Angeles, Ward Radio will purchase 3 to 5 tables and 10 to 12 chairs, and we're going to have Scott Barrows teach us how to frickin' suplex
And chokeslam people through tables.
and
That's-
chokeslam
that's what
people
we
through
want.
tables.
If that's what you want, that's what I'll give you. That's what I do.
And you know who's going to write the waiver? Freaking Megan. It's going to be it's going to be airtight in court, you know what I'm saying? And dude, would that not be the coolest thing on the planet? What's a simple move? What's a legit simple move like entry level?
I mean,
WCW here that we can learn.
everyone knows how to do a body slam. You pick them up and you dump them over.
No, I don't know.
I've never done a body slam.
Yeah,
Same.
like what it's like, so where do you grab them? Do you just like pick them up from like the
You
legs?
go in
What do
between
you do?
in between their legs.
Okay.
And this part's kind of on their shoulder, and you pick them up like this, turn them over, and slam them that way on their back.
And it's really kind of, they're supposed to land flatlings to
Land
kind of
flat.
sell it, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt them, so they land flat. It's real simple.
So I think I need muscles before I attempt
I
a
can
body
show
slam.
you.
Yeah,
on,
that might
on
help,
Megan.
Mindy,
if
yeah.
you-
Enough.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now, obviously, when you're watching WCW, which I've never done, but anyway, so like when you're watching, it looks like the floor kind of bounces.
The ring.
Right. Yeah. The ring bounces.
Yeah, there's give. It's plywood a small mat and a little padding.
Okay, now is that just give from the wood, or is it spring loaded and it really helps you out? Or
different rings are different. They all have a good amount of metal, and they all give you a good amount of give. The more, but you don't want too much give because it hurts your footing. You're going to fall. It's like a trampoline at that point. You don't want that. You want in between stiff and in between trampoline is the perfect.
Do you ever just realize how freaking cool it is that you've done this and how like tough that is? Like, I mean, here you are literally thinking, yeah, okay, this floor ain't so bad. So when this other giant fridge picks up this fridge and throws it, it will only shake like a 6.0 earthquake, not like an 8.0.
So,
you know what I'm saying? And not like a 4.0 where we really get hurt and break a collarbone. But, I'm only risking like femur damage and kneecaps. You know what I'm saying?
So
Like,
getting back to the Mexican story.
yeah.
The rings down there, because that's such a they're so acrobatic, so the rings are very stiff. So a lot of times you could be in a boxing ring that has no bounce.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, those are rough. It feels like you're on concrete.
Oh my gosh. You've been body slammed onto like...
No, they didn't body slam me. I body slammed them. The luchadors are little guys. They didn't do a lot to me down there. I really took no punishment down there.
Oh, really?
No.
There is a little bit of truth to that. Like, I met a couple of guys who were on the national basketball team when I was in the MTC. There was a couple of dudes that had come to the MTC together, and they had played... not professional basketball, but like basketball is obviously not as popular a sport as soccer down there. Just like soccer is a popular sport here, but it's not the sport. Like American football and baseball are obviously a lot larger, but more well-funded. Generally, more people play. But there is a strong foothold of football, of soccer in North America, right? Well, there's a strong foothold of basketball in Mexico as well, right? Yeah. But it was really funny. Like the pro level dudes from the Mexican team, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like he was like a foot shorter than everybody else. It's like he was a baller and he was really good, but like you can't teach height.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
And that was actually pretty funny. So you were throwing around these luchador or these lucha libre guys.
So I told you last time I wasn't down there to sell or get beat up. I was there. I was the Rudos, the bad guy's bodyguard. And so I was there to kind of beat him up. But remember, I hurt that guy that one time. Yeah. And I was only there 3 more times. So they never really got to the storyline where they got revenge on me. I was gone before that point. So maybe they would have gotten to me at some point. But
you just shredded them and then left.
Well, I think I was there like 3 more times after that. And then I was gone.
What's it like? Okay. So you just drove down there, right?
I would park in San Diego and wherever and walk across and then take a cab to the Auditorio Arena.
Okay, would you do that nowadays?
Yeah, if they paid me, I would.
Okay, you wouldn't be afraid of getting straight up kidnapped? Well, of course, Tijuana, that's fine.
What's he going to be afraid of, Carter?
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't do this in Juarez.
I wouldn't go to like Ciudad Juarez or in those places, but Tijuana, I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty touristy.
And it was a Monday night. It was always on Monday nights, so it wasn't like it was super crazy.
Was it in Tijuana or was it?
It was in Tijuana. It was a rodeo arena, so I'd go across, catch a cab, and then get a cab back and just walk across.
So I have one apropos story about Tijuana that is interesting to this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hit it.
When I was working in a former life, I would travel a lot. We go to the maquiladores on the border of Mexico and cross the border and talk about industrial engineering and these things. And I didn't speak very good Spanish. I still don't speak very good Spanish. And so I had this translator guy with me, and he was actually a giant. He was a very, very tall guy, super skinny, but really, really tall dude. And we were walking into this factory. We sat down with this guy to have this conversation about lean manufacturing. And he was this really handsome, got it together, little Mexican dude sitting in his office. And compared to this tall guy, the difference was just amazing. Anyways, this just reminds me of this. We're sitting there chatting, and he's translating everything that we're saying back and forth. Until finally I look and I see a little picture of his family behind him. And I was like, "Oh, is that your family behind you?" He says, "Oh, yeah, that's my family. That's me. And that's my son Joseph and my other son Hiram."
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wait a minute. You have a son named
Joseph.
Joseph.
Hiram. Wow.
And a son named Hiram. And he
Dude.
says, yeah.
He's one of
and
us.
I said, are you a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And he's like, yeah. And the translator is going back and forth. He's giving this back and forth to everybody. And I was like, are you a member of the church? He says, yeah. Are you? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, all right. And so we stood up and we're just like shaking each other's hand like, oh, that's great. Pat each other on the back. Of the translator was like, what in the world just happened to you guys? He had no idea what is. He was like, what are you guys talking about? And me and this short little Mexican guy were just best buddies after that.
Great.
And it was just so funny. And it just reminded me that someday we're all going to be together, and having all these different cultures and languages. And, I'm going to have to learn how to speak some of these languages. And we're going to have to learn how to try all this food that we don't like. And what parts of our culture are we going to share? We're going to have to teach them, extreme world wrestling to them, right? And they're going to teach us salsa dancing. And it's all going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Dude, that is hilarious. All right, 2 minutes left, guys. 2 minutes left. Any last super chats you want to give us, make sure that you guys send them in the chat. Don't forget to like this live stream before we get out of here, because we're obviously trying to end this stream on time. For once, finally, you know what I'm saying? I see that we've got 60 likes so far, but there's triple that amount of people that are in the chat right now. So everybody, make sure that you give this a like before we go. I just don't want to be the dude that you accidentally knocked out in Mexico in the afterlife and just like coming up to you and just being like,
Damien, say.
oh, is that his name? Damien, say.
Damien, say.
Like, it kind of makes me wonder, do you think in heaven, like when they say that we have our perfected bodies, is there any like insight you can give us from the Apocrypha, Jonah? Like, are we all going to be the same size? Like it kind of makes you wonder. Like,
the only direction we've gotten from that from Latter-day Revelation is that we're all going to be ourselves.
So like, will I for eternity just be taller than you?
Well, maybe the doorways are taller.
Is our friend Scott here for eternity gonna hate plane flights from JetBlue? And by the way, before we go, shit, man.
Heaven, everyone flies first class.
No, JetBlue first class is out of sight.
Well, even JetBlue regular class is better, I've noticed, because the Boeing 737 that Southwest and Allegiant and all the other airlines use, like my femurs literally don't go from the back of the seat to the back of my seat to the back of the seat in front of me. They're literally not large enough. Yeah. But when I got on JetBlue, their economy was like business class in other airplanes. Yeah. You say their first class is the best?
First class. Well, it's the best I've flown. I won't. That's one thing in life. I will never fly coach. I can't. I'm not like loaded.
Yeah.
Or rich or anything, but that has to be one thing I can give myself.
Hey, but can't you start like haven't like woke people in the body positivity movement made it so like they have to give you 2 seats if you're like extra large or something?
I saw this video of this just giant woman, and she was flying on something and made a complaint, and she literally made a whole video of how you can get a free second seat.
So do you do that, bro?
No,
because yours is also a length thing, not necessarily a width thing.
I would feel like such a slob doing that.
No, but can you even fit in the seat?
I haven't flown coach in 10 years.
So, but I haven't ever flown first class. I'll just admit right now, I don't think I've ever flown to first class. I think I was upgraded once.
Yeah.
But like there was weird sleeping chairs that aren't even like regular chairs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, are the seats significantly wider, or is it just more?
Both. Yeah, both. It's wider, more legroom. There's a website called Seat Guru, and it shows you what they call the pitch and the width of seats. So you can see different airlines. So if you're flying coach, you can see, well, okay, American 737 has more legroom than Delta Airbus or whatever you want to do. You can
really,
you can do that.
Dude, okay, yeah. So last question. What's the best airline to fly, bro? If you're big, what's the best airline?
JetBlue for me. It's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang it! But their flights are so sparse.
They are. They're not. They're bigger, and I flew it to New York, and it's kind of more. I don't know if it's more East Coast than West Coast, but
yeah. Like sometimes I'll fly Brad and Kwaku down from Salt Lake City International down to like Burbank or LAX or whatever. But sometimes they'll go entire months with like no flight from Salt Lake City to the Los Angeles area. And it's like, crap, what do we do now? And then you have to fly them down on Delta for a period of time, but those tickets are like triple or so on and so forth.
Virgin America's pretty good too.
I was just gonna say, dude, Virgin, that's like my favorite airline to fly if it's going somewhere.
She's flown more than me. What do you think? What's your?
I'll take any seat.
She fits.
Well, yeah.
The world's made for her.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm just thankful to be on a plane.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. Well,
Hey,
unfortunately,
Carden, Carolyn Wright Gaines music. sent a
Carolyn
super
Wright Gaines
chat.
music. Okay. Are we all caught up on super chats?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Carolyn Wright Gaines music. She's always very generous to our show. And
And
so on
I was
so
just
forth.
gonna say, when you're in the eternities and you're talking about are we gonna be short and tall, whatever, do you hope that the counters are elevated in your mansions above? That's Carden's like
Yes.
number one. He's like, if we ever get to the point where we custom make our house, the
Yeah.
counters
Yeah,
are
yeah,
raised.
yeah.
Dude, those
For sure.
stupid 22-inch chairs made for the common folk.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's horrible, dude. Second only to that poor person that buys the seat that's behind the post at Wrigley Field in Boston. Like, if you ever notice those cheap seats,
Yeah.
if you ever notice those last-minute
Obstructed
cheap
view.
seats,
Yeah.
where they're like, oh, historic Wrigley Field,
Yeah.
you might accidentally buy the seat behind the giant post,
Yeah.
and you can't just like lean over
No.
into your buddy's lap to
No.
see the ball. You're like, I'm just standing up at the top.
Just there for the experience.
Okay, and then finally, one last question. Most comfortable airline, you said JetBlue. What's the most comfortable sporting venue that you fit into?
As far as like arenas or
Yeah, like arenas, like as a spectator, like Dodger Stadium.
so we went
Wrigley
to a UFC
Field.
fight and we were in the suite at in Denver at Pepsi Center. But we were
Okay.
in the suite,
Okay.
which is totally different.
Okay.
Like you're not sitting in the regular seats like that.
And then final last question. Be honest. Have you ever just put on a security shirt and then just walked into an event like you owned the place in order to just get in? Have you ever done that? Because it is completely believable if you're wearing a security shirt. Have you ever done that?
No, they always say if you're dressed well and you're carrying like a clipboard and you look really busy, you can pretty much
Yep.
go anywhere.
Yep.
You can
It's
pretty
true.
much do anything.
Okay. Have you done that?
No, I couldn't get away with it, but a normal person could.
I think you
She
could.
could.
Bro.
You guys could.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's try it,
That's
Megan.
true.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, actually, what's really funny is she should be leading you and just telling you where to go and addressing you as Mr. Barrows.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's like 100% believable. Because
Or I
then-
could be like her bodyguard and she's like the pop star or something.
There you
too.
go.
That would work.
Yeah. But I don't know. She's a lawyer. She's got the speech down. We have to she can use all the technical terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you get over this ADA non-compliant curb right here and then walk over and then just watch everybody like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes,
like, what do
we
you
have plans for Saturday now.
There you go.
Yeah,
Let's
dude,
go
that
sneak into some events.
is so hilarious. Okay, cool. Well, guys, this has been totally fun. It's been real and it's been fun. Jonah, you got something to say before we go, bro?
Just right before we go, we just wanted to give a shout out to some of our helpers here. First of all, the mods in our Discord, bless you, we love you guys. Our
Yes.
Discord is up to about 1,300 people now. There's plenty of channels there that you can go and have fun with. Check out our Discord. It is in the top right, the social bar on the top right corner of our website, wardradio.com. You can go there and click on that little, it looks like a gamer paddle, and go check us out on our Discord. Lots of fun conversations there, and the mods help keep it clean, so we're very grateful for them. And also, some of our Ward Radio wigwamiers, I don't know, warships, radiologists, I don't know what we call them. I put a couple pictures in the Discord, just two little photos in the Discord of Carolyn Wright Gaines' music, one of our favorite sisters. I think she could be in the Relief Society presidency in the Ward Radio worship. She received her widow's mite.
Oh, here it
And
is.
she sent us a little photo to say how grateful she was for her widow's mite. Thank you, Sister
Ba-boom.
Music. Do we call her Sister Music or Sister Gaines Music or Sister Wright?
I just
Gaines
call her
music? I don't know.
Carolyn Wright Gaines music. Okay, yeah.
And then
awesome.
also Smiling Chona also sent us a little image of her with her widow's mite. We're so glad you got it, Sister Chona. Thank you for being part of the Ward Radio
Oh, look at that.
Wrestling, the Ward Radio Wrestling Rama.
I'm telling you,
I don't know what
Mormons
you
are just beautiful. Look at Sister Chona. Look at Sister Carolyn Wright Gaines' music.
I know.
They're just like, she looks like the beautiful stewardess from, I don't know, some movie. And then Carolyn Wright Gaines' music with that cool cowboy hat. She looks like she's like a country pop star from 2007 or something.
We're also excited to announce our new merch. We're going to have Megan's face put
Yes.
on a T-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just going to magnify her face
Yes.
is right on a T-shirt, smiling
Yes.
for
Who's gonna buy
everybody.
that?
So if
Yes.
you'd like to
Me.
purchase some of those T-shirts, you can check those out in our merch store, and they'll be coming out very shortly.
Yes. Awesome. So what are we going to call ourselves? Also, we haven't figured out, we haven't settled. Are we the Ward Radio Wigwam, the Warship? Some people have said the Ward Shippers, I saw in the chat. That would be kind of cool. It's like a play on words from Warshippers and Ward Shippers. You know, I
Ward
don't know.
Radio Wrestlers?
Oh, the Ward Radio WrestleManiacs.
WrestleMania.
You know what I'm saying? That could get
Could
even cooler. I'm not sure, but we're going to work with it. So anyway, guys, this has been totally real. It's been totally fun. Before you go, I'm looking at the stats here really fast. Before we go, we need you guys to make sure that you like the stream. Thank you very much for all the concurrent views, everybody who's hanging out with us. This has been totally blast. If you just tuned in, we just had some really fun guests in the studios. We got Scott Barrows and Megan. What's your we have to give you a WrestleMania name too. We're gonna work on that one. There was Tori Wilson for a while.
Cash Money Megan.
Cash Money Megan.
Cash Money Megan.
All right, we got Cash Money Megan in the studio, along with you just went by your name, Scott Barrows, right?
I told you I had like 10 different names.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you did have. What was your first one again?
J.R. Mulligan.
J.R. Mulligan.
Mulligan.
Yeah. Okay. So we got wrestler J.R. Mulligan with Cash Money Megan. You know what I'm saying? I love this. Like, this is just so freaking fun. Somebody else suggests it's like the WrestleManiacs, like the cartoon show back in the 90s. That'd be hilarious. So anyway, it's been real and it's been fun and it's been real fun, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been an absolute blast. Until next time, for this and more, please check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon. This supersonic is amazing. You're gonna feel my sonic boom. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me. We brought the funk into this function. We show up dressing to the nines. Okay. Never need an introduction. No matter what, we're feeling fine. I'm flying high and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. I can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. I'm flying high and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me. Ladies, leave your man at home if he don't treat you like a queen.